Hello. I'm at the giddy slash almost hallucinating part of having not slept a night. But I always ask you guys to listen to my music, and so I figured I would give you something back for free that might be helpful to you if you are a songwriter or a guitar player. But I like to think that over the years I've kind of gleaned some wisdom from some of the arguably best songwriters in the world. I mean, Steve McEwen is like the best songwriter that I know of. When I work with him, I'm just constantly like, oh, that's not what I am. That's what you are. And look at that. Oh. Um, but over the years of having worked with him, some of that has rubbed off on me. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of nice when people collaborate and we get to share and inspire and impart things. So I feel like it's only fair, especially since I'm always like throwing shit at you guys and being like, listen to this, listen to this. Isn't that great? Here's some stuff. So okay, where should we start? Towards the end of the song is where I really made the most change. Like the beginning of the song, the chorus is kind of just like an open E, and then it kind of, and it's nice and quiet. Oh, I'm gonna plug my computer in so it doesn't go dark. It's nice and quiet. The chugging muted there because it's the first chorus. So I just thought this is totally like impromptu, unprepared, but the second chorus, I wanna be loved, I want people to fear how much they love me. Okay, so there's like this weird bridge section where I quote Michael from The Office. I don't want to be loved. I want people to be like afraid of how much they love me, but I say I want people to fear how much they love me. I think he says afraid. Shout out to Michael in The Office. Fucking love you. But seriously, I'm having a great time with myself. So there's this like weird bridge section before the second chorus, okay? And normally I was playing it already. The second verse, I play different chords slightly than the first one. And so then I continue on with that theme, which I'm adding like a flat or something into the A and then into the A minor. Whereas like the first verse is like just very plain like E, A. Now I've got like A flat, A major, A minor. So we're beefing it up, making it more complex. And then I continue that theme on into that bridge with how much they love me, right? I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. And that's how I played it on the recording that's online. How much they love me. How much they love me. How much they love me. We're in the Ramones now, but I decided, especially at a lower tempo, like if I ever decide to get Ramones-ish with this and like punk it up, like Veruca Salt, get some electric guitars and like run around the stage, like, which would be great, and I'm going to do that. But because at this tempo, there's like so much space under this part, I was like, yo, finger picking, bro. How much they love me. How much they love me. How much they love me. And then back into the, before I move on, let me just reiterate. So it's like, I mean, that's almost like a Radiohead strum, and the chords are basically Radiohead anyway. So it's like, how much they love me. A flat. Or is it G sharp? That I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I smoked pot before I went to those classes at Berkeley. A flat. We're just gonna call it A flat. How much they love me. It's Radiohead, right? And you can hear the difference because it's so sparse. How much they love me, and then you're waiting. It's so sparse with the vocals. With the finger picking, how much they love me. When I figured this shit out, I got chills. more full it is. I mean, there's so many notes that are filling it now, besides the fact that there's a pattern of those notes. And how much they love me. Think about crying. I don't remember my own lyrics. I'm crying if I do. Da, 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 da. I just want to feel my tears dry. That's a nod to Amy Winehouse. The first chorus that I have online is, and then I was kind of like going back to a little bit of how I was playing it before, but maybe like a little bit louder, right? But then I was like, yo, hold up. What if I played it like kind of more intense? And if I was like, miniature oceans on. Okay, that's a little too intense. I don't play it like that, but I'm just saying, like, so the old way. Miniature oceans on. It's more straight. On my lid. Or whatever I was doing. I always do. That's like my go-to. I will always play that. I don't know. Sorry if it's boring. So that part's open. Miniature oceans. Miniature. Listen to the syllables. Miniature. Even if I don't sing and I just play it, you can almost kind of hear miniature in your head. And even if you like change it like slightly, you could still hear that predominant syllabic pattern. So that's what I'm like kind of doing here in this next part. Miniature oceans. And I kind of do the opposite. On eyelids is very straight. On eyelids, and I'm like on eyelids. So I'm adding some syllables, and I'm also doing an upstroke there that is counterpart to what the main vocal's doing. So miniature oceans on that. And you can mute it with like the palm of your thumb hand part area. Thumb hand? Mute it with the part of your thumb hand, you fucking assholes. It sounds better muted. It's not as severe. It's not as like in your face, intense. Like that's not necessary. Now for this next part, I did a cool strumming pattern that I already forgot, so hold on. How much they love me. How much they love me. Know that I won't cry, or if I do, it's just so I can feel tears dry. Ooh, miniature oceans on eyelids. Oh, it's kind of the same, but it's like. It's just more like groovy. Okay, so. Yeah, so that's the other thing that I did that I really like. At the end where it's like, before I was playing some extra beats in there, so hold on. It's so much more flowy. Okay, so obviously you can hear where it emphasizes, right? But it's still got the flow because we're not letting go of it. We're not muting it. Like we're gonna go. You need to get that downstroke there. Instead of, or whatever the fuck, you still have that downstroke feeling, because when you chug, it's the downstroke of the chug that gives it that aggro-ness. And so when you add flowy, you can have that flowiness with your rhythm, your pattern, and even the way you're playing it, but make sure you include that downstroke, because we want to remember to keep, you know, the straight parts of the beat where they need to be. And that's going to be different for like every song and whatever you feel. But I'm just kind of like showing the different like complexities that you can do with your strumming patterns, because it doesn't have to be, you know, of course I love the, I mean, come on. It's Jaws, you know, it's Jaws. We love that shit. There's a shark in the water. Um, but but it's so much more nuanced and complex, and it's fun because like it's like, you know, you still got that down, that hit down, but you're like jamming. So yeah, so those are the differences. I hope that was interesting, why I chose to make those changes and what I feel that those changes do to the song. You know, aside from just trying to be different or unique, there's a purpose there, and you don't always have to like be able to explain them or, you know, really like consciously understand. But like if you have a feeling like, oh, this feels better than that, you know, that's your reason. I just feel like I used to be that way a lot, and Mike Greca actually recently kind of redirected some of my guitar parts and like reminded me like that's like important. Once you start playing more frequently, some of that stuff does kind of come a little bit naturally, but I think it's good to actually make it salient. And then, you know, if you stop playing, like I kind of stopped playing shows, and I, you know, went into motherhood and back to school. And so I kind of like lost some of my sensibilities, although like cognitively, like I understand a bit about song format, but like there's like a body, like you've got a sense of memory in your body that kind of just knows what to do. Like for that last example, when I like had the flow, but I kept the downbeat, that's something that would be really common if you were jamming with people. Jamming. You want to keep some semblance of like moving forward, whatever the tempo is, whatever the rhythm is, you don't want to lose it. But even if something is straight on the beat, you always want to kind of have like some sort of idea of what the backbeat is in your head. That helps too. So even if you're, you know, playing something, you always want to feel all the other options that are going on, at least in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if that would be distracting for some people, but I find that like one of the ear training exercises that I used to do was my grandfather, Louis Soloway, was my first music teacher, and he would, and even in my music class around the same time in second grade, although I started with my grandpa a little bit earlier outside of school, but you know, you have a music teacher that will sing a line of a song and then they'll stop, and you have to kind of like imagine the song in your head and keep count in your head, and then everybody, you know, the teacher goes like this and everybody sings, and you want to make sure that everybody's at the same place, because that means that you've got a good internal sense of rhythm and key signature, et cetera, which is really important. So that's why I feel like when you're writing these guitar parts or writing songs, it still matters that you can, you know, have that internal sense. Just because it's your song, you know, don't forget, like, your song is still a song. That was one of my biggest hurdles, actually, is like, a lot of people would be so, you know, positive and giving me like good feedback, and yet at the same time I just felt like, well, I mean, these are my songs and I'm Rachel Zamstein, these are Rachel Zamstein songs, so like they don't matter, you know. And now first of all, I've worked pretty hard to improve on a lot of my skills, to the point where I am emotionally, that was my goal. I just wanted to be emotionally touched by my own music, and share that with people as they're listening, like in my live performances especially, but also on recording. I just, you know, wanted to like have a real experience that was being shared, instead of just performing, and instead of just like, here you go, you know, these chords sound nice together and this melody fits. You know, just, I think that ideas that have an actual purpose, they are so much more impactful. So I hope that was helpful. Bye.